Fantasy, crime, action, animation, and so many more genres have given us memorable movie franchises that went down in history, and truth is, it's really hard to pick just one. Welcome back to another video, fellas, and today I will give you my picks for the top 10 movie franchises that everyone should watch at least once in a lifetime. For this list, I am including franchises comprised of at least 3 movies, and of course, more than one movie that ranks above average. And so without any delay, let's go! Number 10. Rocky. The first film came out in 1976. An unknown and broke at the time Sylvester Stallone wrote the script for Rocky Balboa and refused offers up to $2,500 to sell the script, because he wanted to star himself as Rocky. Thankfully, the producers eventually agreed, and the rest is history. Yo, Adrian! I did it! The first Rocky film won Best Picture at the Oscars and established Stallone as a leading action star. The Rocky franchise consists of 6 movies, and everyone is unique in its own way. A story about never giving up, about resilience and courage. If you've never seen a Rocky film, you're missing out on one of the best stories in cinematic history. Number 9. Kung Fu Panda. When people ask me what is the best animated trilogy, I always come up with the same answer. Skadoosh! Kung Fu Panda. Many animated films have gone down in the books of the greatest animated films, but Kung Fu Panda is probably the only animated franchise that every movie in it is simply incredible. Seriously, the whole trilogy is simply dope, and of course, it stars the man, the myth, the legend, Jack Black, probably in one of the best performances of his career.
Sorry, buddy. Gotta send you back to the spirit realm. Skadoosh! Okay.
Number 8. The Dollars Trilogy. Okay, in this franchise we're traveling more than half a century back, specifically to the period between 1964 and 1966. 3 years, 3 films, and every film was better than its predecessor. The franchise that made the legendary Clint Eastwood rose to fame, and the rest is history. Mr. Clint Eastwood portrays the man with no name, and even though no one mentions if the events of the 3 films are connected, or at least if they occur in the same timeline, and also, the 3 films came to be considered as trilogy, since the character portrayed by Clint Eastwood was wearing the same clothes and acted with the same mannerisms. Go and watch these films, you are in for a treat.
I don't think it's nice you laughing.
Number 7. Godfather. Probably the best crime films ever made. Legendary performances by Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and many more. The first and second films of the franchise are widely considered to be among the best films ever made. And to be honest, I think they are. The storytelling, the pacing, the acting, the cinematography, basically everything in these films is impeccable. Undoubtedly, films that you must see at least once in your life.
I'm gonna make him an offer again with you.
Moving on. Number 6. Christopher Nolan's Batman Trilogy. If there was an award for best superhero movie ever made, we know who would win that. None other than Christopher Nolan's Batman. This trilogy brought a new aura to superhero movies. At a time where superhero movies were considered only childish and shallow, Nolan delivered one of the most emblematic trilogies in cinema history. Specifically the second film, The Dark Knight, where the late Heath Ledger gave the performance of a century. Nolan's Batman films are unlike the rest superhero films, and if you've never watched them, well, what are you waiting for?
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
Number 5. Indiana Jones. Another one of the most beloved franchises in movie history. The charismatic Harrison Ford portrays archaeologist Indiana Jones in these fast-paced action-adventure movies where each film follows the famous professor in his adventures around the world. Fun fact, while on vacation and trying to escape the success of Star Wars, George Lucas met with Steven Spielberg in Hawaii in the distant 1977 and told him of an idea better than James Bond. Steven Spielberg liked it and described it as James Bond but without the hardware. And once again, the rest is cinematic history. One thing is for certain, this franchise will not disappoint you. Number 4. Pirates of the Caribbean. Alright, the franchise that brought us Jack Sparrow.
Captain Jack Sparrow, if you please, sir.
One of the most iconic characters in film history. Johnny Depp, with the role he was born to play, delivers a performance impossible not to like. And of course, all 5 films are stacked with a cast that consists of amazing actors. And here's a cool detail that will make you want to watch these movies in case you haven't already. Johnny Depp came up with one amazing characteristic when creating the character of Jack Sparrow. When Captain Sparrow walks on land, he always looks as if he's kinda drunk, as he has a very flexuous type of moving. However, when he is on the deck of a ship out on the sea, his steps are firm and steady. This goes to show that Captain Jack Sparrow is used to walking while on the sea. And so when he is on a stable ground, he moves himself around to balance out the absence of the sea. Anyway, if you haven't seen this franchise, you're clearly missing out.
I mean, get. Look what I got. I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt. And guess what's inside it?
And now, before we move to the top 3, here are a few honorable mentions. James Bond, in my opinion, the Daniel Craig franchise, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I personally love so much, but it has 31 films and a few more TV series that are connected to each other, and so I can't ask from anyone to sacrifice 9 years of his life to watch it all. The Matrix, which unfortunately I think has only one good film, Shrek, Lethal Weapon, Toy Story, Back to the Future, Harry Potter, and Rambo. Okay, and now the top 3. Number 3, Jurassic Park. What can I say about this legendary franchise? The first film, back in 1994, made arguably the biggest contribution to cinema, and paved the way for the improved VFX that we saw in the end of the 90s and early into the new millennia. Jurassic Park wasn't the first film to employ computer effects, but it was the first to make them seamless and spotless. Fun fact, Peter Jackson, alongside many other filmmakers, was inspired to film The Lord of the Rings after watching Jurassic Park. The film went on to have 5 more sequels, with the latest 3 being the Jurassic World movies, which take place years after the first 3 films. Also, there is an amazing animated series on Netflix called Camp Cretaceous that takes place in the same universe and is connected to the latest movies. This franchise is the mark of many generations and something everyone should see at least once.
My dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
Number 2, Star Wars. Truth is, fellas, I am your father. And Star Wars is the father of fantasy franchises. Created by George Lucas, the franchise that gave us so many cult and memorable characters, stuff, and moments. The franchise that gave us Darth Vader, lightsabers, stormtroopers, The Mandalorian, The Force, Siths and Jedis, and of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
The franchise consists of 9 direct sequel films divided in 3 trilogies, 2 spin-off movies, and a couple of animated and live-action TV series. Also, it is reported that new Star Wars films are now in development. And now, like I said about the Marvel Cinematic Universe earlier, I recommend this franchise more than anything. But I don't expect anyone to devote all these hours to watch everything set in the Star Wars universe. But I do recommend, and I highly insist, that you should watch the original Star Wars trilogy. It's something that everyone should watch at least once in a lifetime. It's simply unique and part of the worldwide cinema legacy. And now, it's time for the moment that I've been waiting for. I mean, you. Yes, you've been waiting for. Number 1, The Lord of the Rings. The one franchise that you have never seen, you are probably from another planet, or you live under a rock alongside Patrick Star, where you discuss about the taste of sand. Anyway, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy is arguably the best adaptation of a book ever made. But not only that, these films are also widely considered to be among the greatest films of all time, which they are. The franchise won 17 Oscars out of 30 nominations, all from just 3 movies, more than any other franchise in film history. To think about, the Star Wars franchise, which has considerably more movies, is second with 10 Oscars. And now, back to the topic. The third film, The Return of the King, was the first fantasy film to win Best Picture and be recognized by all kind of film critics. I mean, look at this. The franchise won 475 awards and was nominated for 800. 800 awards for just 3 films! And now this is no simple feat, but a feat that I doubt will ever be repeated in cinematic history. In fact, The whole trilogy is such a masterpiece that I personally believe we will never see anything like it again. And so let me close by saying this. If you haven't watched the Lord of the Rings films, schedule 12-13 hours of a day off, grab snacks and drinks, get your best friends or family, and make a movie marathon. Shut up! Don't say it! Oh, but I don't like fantasy nonsense! It's not. Apart from the wonderful VFX and fantasy world, the film offers one of the best stories ever. Thanks to the writing of the legendary J.R.R. Tolkien. It offers characters and plot that are literally one of a kind. Even if you are not a fan of the genre, there is no way you will not like these movies. I promise you, this franchise is a ride of a lifetime. A ride that I think everyone must make at least once in a lifetime.
You shall not pass!
And so that is my list, fellas. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to let me know in the comments which cinematic franchise is your favorite of all time. Until the next one, have an amazing time and I'll see you all later. And now you might want to check this video next, where I discuss why a trilogy like The Lord of the Rings will never be repeated. Oh, and don't subscribe if you're stupid.
My friends, you bow to no one.